Oh my gosh, doesn't that get us into the energy
so
of Sparkle
yeah.
Self-Mastery with Nicole? Like, I love it. I know we're all like dancing, and I teased on the last one. I was like, you guys, I'm a dancer. There's going to have to be some kind of dancing element to this.
Yeah.
So with no further ado, welcome to episode 2 of Sparkle Self-Mastery with Nicole, and I am so excited. I'm sure you can see the beautiful, well, actually very handsome faces next to me. There's no intro needed. They're like, who are you talking about? There's no intro needed, obviously. We have the amazing Nicholas Smith and Ryan Morris. However, they are always tooting everybody else's horns and focusing on everybody else's magic and sparkle and shine. And I want to focus on theirs. So we have Nicholas Smith, who is the world's greatest listener. I did a beautiful session with him, and his intuitive abilities. Are you saying you can't hear me?
No,
he's the world's best listener, except for right now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
That was not nice.
No.
That's okay. No, but I mean, he really is the world's greatest listener. He is obviously the author of the amazing book that brings together this entire beautiful community, the giants and the smalls. And my daughter even like made a little heart bookmark for the book.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he really helps you focus on the fire that grows inside of you and carries you to your potential. He brings to the surface the desires, both known and unknown, and he helps you shine what's really magical and special about you. So I really, really hope that you reach out to him, book a session. He is incredible. He helped me big time recognize that there was like fear in stepping into this next level of what was waiting for me, even though I wasn't ready to face it. So I just highly, highly recommend him. And then we have Ryan Morris, who both of these guys are my soul brothers for sure. But this guy, I am telling you, he is the most supportive brother you could ever have. He is like on every single live. He's shouting you out. And trust me, he is like big brother bear. You know, mama bear with the kids. He is big brother bear. He is there to protect you. He is the
Papa
world's
bear.
best potential coach. He sees your potential even when you do not. That's what you guys just have, this beautiful magic together, and you help people see this within them, which is just so amazing. And you have a giant potential to reach 100 million lives globally. Like, you are just so incredible, both of you. Your souls are just so special, and I'm just so grateful to have you as a guest on this show. And honestly, I mean, obviously, the show would not exist without you.
Thank you.
This opportunity would not
awesome.
exist
Yeah.
without you.
Thank
The
you.
beautiful, priceless friendships that everybody here has created would not exist without you. So from the bottom of my heart, I'm going to start this off with just saying thank you. The biggest thank you that anybody could ever say. So thank you so much.
Yeah,
Big
you're
thank you.
welcome.
That's a giant
That's
thank you.
huge. Yeah.
That's very true.
It's beautiful. Thank you.
Of course. Oh my goodness. And
We
I
love you
really
so
actually
much,
want to
too, so
focus
thank
on how you two met. I want to hear like the path, the
I like
synchronicities,
when
the
Ryan
signs.
Morris
What
tells
brought
his
you
story.
guys together?
Yeah, he's way better at it. So this one.
One lonely night at a bar. No, just kidding. No. Nick and I both we're both salesmen, so we've been in sales for a long period of time. Nick's sales path then took him to finance and to an RV dealership. I happened to own a business and then move into sales in an RV dealership, a separate RV dealership, and left that RV dealership and went to another RV dealership, and then marched in one day, Nicholas Townsend Smith, the man, the myth, and the legend, and but Nick's a little bit more introverted, and so people would say hi to him, but he wasn't going out of his way to say hi to other people. He just, politely say hi and then walk to his corner office. And by corner office, I mean it was in the corner, but like it was right next to the exit door, and so there was like mice that would run in and out of his office. It was kind of
They would eat my snacks.
yeah, they would eat his food.
Oh my goodness gracious!
How rude, huh?
Did you name them?
No.
Moment of truth. Did you name them?
I never got to meet them.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
It would
Sneaky.
sneaky in the night.
Yeah.
And one day Nick walked past my desk and I was like, dude, this guy doesn't ever say hi. I'm gonna go say hi to him and find out what his story is.
Aw.
So marched over to his office, plopped myself down. He's like, have a seat kind of a thing, you know.
I love
I
that.
will. And yeah, I just asked him, I said, okay, what's your deal? You know, and I'm like, I know you're a finance manager, but like, what do you do outside of here? And he goes, well, I'm an author and a life coach. I was like, what? And so then he flipped around his screen. He said, you want to see my book? I was like, yeah.
Oh
And
my
he had it
gosh.
on his computer and he showed it to me. I was like, man, dude, that's incredible. Like, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Like, needs to get out. And then we got talking, and he invited me to come to one of his events. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going. So me and my wife, we hopped in the car and drove down and met up at one of his events. And I was like, after the event, I was like, I'm gonna work with that guy. On the drive home, I remember clear as day saying, I'll be in business with that guy. I don't know how, but
Oh.
I'll be in business with this guy. So then the next morning, I'm, like marched back into his office. I was like, dude, that was amazing. It's like, I have a great idea. We should be business partners. And
Okay.
Nick goes, nope.
Wait, seriously?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So,
Pretty much like that. Like, I don't do business partners, but thank you.
okay.
Oh. I
And
was
then what
like,
happened from there?
all right.
Okay.
Well then, like, I don't know, a few months later, sitting in his office again, because that's what I do. And he's like, dude, I got a great idea. You and I should be business partners. Like, no, no, can't take that away from
He
me.
just figured eventually he was going to say yes.
Yeah. And then I
You're
was
going to
like,
wear him thin.
all right.
He would bribe me. He'd come in. He's like, I love you, man, but I hate your liver. And he'd bring me a monster drink.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Wait, you hate your liver?
Yeah.
You hate his liver?
Trying to
Expand.
kill it
What,
with
what do you mean?
with an energy drink with unhealthy
Yeah. It's probably
products.
not the best for your
Oh, yes.
liver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But I still
very,
love
very,
him.
very
but I
Just
hate
didn't
your
true.
love
liver.
his liver.
Now I
Maybe
have
not
a
his
quarter.
kidneys either.
We're
Oh
business
my goodness. So
partners,
how
and
many
I have a
no's did it
quarter
take?
liver. Yeah.
Nose. Well, it took the big no initially, and then I was kind of like, my ego, my pride was hurt
Yeah.
because that doesn't happen in my world. Like, people wanted to do business with me, and so then I was like, okay, well, who do I have to be to be with, like, in business with Nick Smith? Where do I
Okay.
need to do? So I
Yeah.
just started stepping into my sales ability, and we started sales consulting and sales training, and got together every Monday and Thursday night in a coffee shop. We would sit there and just create sales material. One morning, we decided that, hey, we needed to go to an event where the author Richard Paul Evans was going to be, but we didn't know that at the time.
Oh, wow.
And we showed up to this event, and I don't think any of us were really excited. It was cold. It was a cold morning, and we were tired, and none of us really wanted to go that badly, but we felt like that was the next step. So we
Yeah.
went to this mastermind meeting and sat there, and in walked Richard Paul Evans, and I was like, Nick, go give him the book. Like, show him the book.
Yeah.
And so he went out to his truck and his car and grabbed his iPad and showed him the book.
Mm-hmm.
And Richard Paul Evans, graciously looked at it and said, man, that's pretty amazing. This is impressive. You should come to my author ready course.
Oh,
And
wow.
invited us up there, and Nick took that course, and then we knew that at that point in time that we had to shift, that this was the message that people needed to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And then we could use all of our abilities that we've been creating as salesmen and as
Yep.
amazing charismatic people that we are.
Yes.
Just kidding.
Smooth, slick,
We're just
Smooth
so
sailing.
smooth.
slick.
Good talkers.
Yeah.
I love this. Okay, so when the first time he said no, what went on in your mind? Was it like you knew intuitively that you guys were meant to work together?
Did you want the actual
was it internal
language?
stuff you were working on, or were you just like, I'm gonna wear him thin? Like, I want to get into the inner workings because so many people out there, I'm sure, are getting no's, but they know something's intended for them, and I want this story to inspire them.
I've always been one to follow my intuition, and I'm really good at. It took a lot of years to get to this way, but I'm really good at not giving up, like loyal to a fault almost.
Yeah.
And I knew the instant that I met Nick that there was something that was supposed to be done with Nick. I didn't know what, I didn't know how or why, but I felt it. And that's why I said to my wife, I was like, I'm going to be in business with this guy. when it came, I had done door-to-door sales as a little kid. So
What did you sell?
I had a paper route, but I had to go door to door to collect the money. It was a free
Oh,
it was a
okay.
free paper.
Yeah.
So like people could pay, like choose not to pay for it, but there was a dollar donation.
Aw.
And so I would go around and just expect the
Give them puppy
sale and
dog eyes.
just be like, "Hey, I'm collecting for the newspaper." And they'd be like, "What?" And they give me $1,
Yeah.
and then I said, "Hey, if you want to pay for the whole year, it's $12."
Yeah.
Then I found out if I did a good job, they would tip me. So
Oh, there we go.
I would get no's. Like I would get people that say no, but then I'd show up the next month and say, hey, I'm collecting again, surprise. Until and then if they
Just
didn't pay me,
consistency.
yeah, I had a spreadsheet and everything because my dad was a CPA, he's an accountant, and so
Okay.
he would keep track. So if they
Yeah.
didn't pay me that week, well, guess where I was showing up again, like a bill collector on their doorstep for my
Yeah.
dollar bill. It's like,
Yep.
pay up,
You will
son.
never guess what I used to
With-
sell door to
with the
door.
baseball bat.
What did you sell door to door?
You know those $7,000 vacuums?
You
The
went.
Kirby's.
You were like a Kirby salesperson.
Kirby's.
That's rad.
This little tiny thing that didn't even like weigh 110 pounds.
Yeah.
Dragging
Like,
this
but
huge
could
thing
you
into people's
lift this
houses,
into the
like,
house for
vacuuming
me?
their mattresses, showing them the dirt, like in the winter. I was determined.
Door-to-door
Dang.
sales or any type of sales like that, if you haven't done it and you want to have some real life experience real quick,
And grow some thick skin.
that's the way
That's
to-
for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
for sure.
So I didn't let that, but essentially, I mean, I guess I could have just said I had thick skin, but that was what it was. Is Nick said no.
The short answer.
Yeah, I didn't hear
Short
that.
answer, I had
When
thick
Nick
skin.
said no, I don't have business partners. What I heard in my mind was, yeah, but they're not me, and you don't know who you don't know, and
Right.
you will know. And what can we do that you'll say yes to? That was really what, like,
Yeah, and that's you recognizing your worth.
yeah,
You're
it
like,
just
well,
shifted.
you don't realize who you just said no to.
Yeah.
That's the thing too. It's just like with this book and everything that you're doing in the Tribe of Giants, it's all about really recognizing the potential within you and coming to that worthiness and deserving. And I feel like worthiness and deserving is the foundation for everything that we're trying to achieve in life. Like everything. Because if you don't feel worthy and deserving of chasing dreams, of thinking outside the box, of choosing a different path, then you're not going to succeed.
Sounds like you've read this story.
Oh I love my girls love this story. I love this
27,
story.
Paragraph
Yeah,
2.
she's like,
It says,
wow, that's
Gosh,
pretty
Huh?
amazing.
yeah, page 27.
I have
What
it
is
marked.
page
I have a
27?
specific
27
area that I
pages?
want to speak about.
There's
I have
like
it
30.
marked. Definitely.
Yeah.
I want to dive in. But first, okay, Nick, I want to get
Yeah.
back to this no thing.
Yeah.
What went through your head?
What's that? What's going on in
What went through
mine?
your head
Yeah,
during
what
this
would
process?
when you
Well,
said
okay,
no to
so
me?
there was some letting go on my side, right? Because I had this vision of me doing it, launching the book, in a way like creating something with it. I didn't know I wanted to do coaching with it, but it was my thing. So I was like, I didn't want to let go of it, and I don't know people's agendas or intentions. And so over here, I feel a little guarded. And so when he said, yeah, I want to work together around the book, right? It was around the book and the training, because I did that first training on the mind and how the brain works.
Mhm.
And then that's when he came in and said that. And I said, no. And then, later on, we started looking at some ways that we could work together.
Mhm.
So I wasn't completely shut off, but I was around the book. I hold that pretty tight. So
You were like, this is my baby. I've created
Yeah,
this
it
for so
is.
many
I mean,
years. This is
it's 12, 13 years of investment of my time and creation in it. And then building all the illustrations, everything, like all the way through. And then somebody's like, hey, I want it, right? And I'm like, no, dude. Like,
I just met you yesterday.
So
give me a piece of your heart. You don't know
Yeah.
me, but give me a piece of your heart and your soul right now.
But he showed himself. So we started to build that trust, and what I know about Ryan is I can trust him. I can count on him. And so there's this consistency over time where you start to realize, like, this is somebody that you can actually let go of the reins with a little bit. And so when Rick Evans came in and we met him, Ryan would come up to the event and he'd eat dinner with us and hang out. And him, like he's friends with everybody. Like in a night, he's friends with everybody. I'm over here like quiet. I can talk to people when I'm in a sales situation or I need to talk. I can talk, but I like to recharge alone.
Yep.
And he's the opposite. Like, he recharges with people. And I'm
Mhm.
exhausted by the end of the night with people.
Do you guys know your human design?
I know my personality type, but
Okay. It's a little
Yeah.
different. We'll have to chat
Yeah.
later.
okay.
I am
Yeah.
no expert at human design.
Yeah.
Definitely not. But I know the right people to introduce you to, but I also know the website to send you to discover
Okay.
what you are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd be curious.
great.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a
good.
generator. I generate energy for other people.
Okay. I don't know what it would be. A blender?
It's beautiful. It's another
I'm
level
a
of
blender.
awareness. It's a blueprint of
Yeah.
your potential. It's a
Yeah.
blueprint of who you are,
Yeah, I'd
how
be
you
curious.
work,
Yeah.
everything.
I know I'm an INFJ personality type, and then
Yeah.
a T, a turbulent. So
Somebody just told me last night. They were like, I think you're an INFJ. They're pretty rare. And I
yeah.
was like, oh,
And
okay. I'll
I
have to
know
look
like
into that.
50 of them. It's like, how rare is this? Really? Everybody I know in my circle is an INFJ. How rare is this thing?
Well, it's like that commercial where the woman says that she's talking to, I think, the Geico lizard or something, and
Yeah.
she's saying that she's an introvert. And then it's really rare, and he's like, I don't think you're. And she's like, oh no, it's very rare. Nobody's an introvert.
That's what INFJ is. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, us and Buddha or whatever.
Us and Buddha.
Gandhi.
Aw.
Us and Buddha.
But
Yeah.
okay, so 12 to 13 years of creating this in the world.
Well,
Can
yeah,
you
I
tell
wrote
us a little bit about that path?
Yeah, going back in time, that journey started in a parking lot, a food bank parking lot in Salt Lake City, Utah. I was bankrupt, foreclosed on. Real estate had just hit 2008. Made some really poor choices, and so inside of that, I was paying the consequences in a way. And so I decided to do what any normal person would do. I wanted to become a speaker and a
Life
coach. And a life coach.
Any sane person would do that,
It's in
right?
the, it's in the
You're down and
darkness where
out.
you find your light. It really is.
It
I
is,
mean, I know it's my
yeah.
story and so many other people. It's like the light cannot be seen until you're in that dark situation.
Well, so
Until you're given that choice.
I thought I was waking up then, and I really think I started waking up later, way later down the road. But
Okay.
back in 09, I was going into a food bank. Somebody said, you need to have a conversation with this person, Steve Hardison. I said, okay. I had no idea who he was. And I knew to watch for his call. He called when I was sitting in the parking lot, and we talked. And he listened. You talk about somebody that can listen. He listened in a way I'd never experienced before. And so for about an hour, he just served. He just served. No expectations, no requests, nothing. And then continues to serve. 13 years later, he hasn't slowed down.
Yeah.
And so I asked him that question, in the parking lot, and it's in the book. And he asked the giant, can you? And that's one of the sections.
Oh,
That's
yes.
from Steve Hardison. Steve Hardison said that to me.
Yep.
And he said, yes. And I said, how can you say yes if you don't know what I'm going to ask? And he said, there's nothing you can ask that's bigger than me. And he later clarified that there's nothing outside of his realm of creation, because he can either create it himself or enroll others to help him create it, right? Which is available to everybody. And so my life didn't change a lot. I went to work for my brother. I was driving to Park City every day. I listened to a ton of books. I listened to Who Moved My Cheese by Spencer Johnson, and it inspired something. And so I was looking at the houses on the hill, and I was listening to that book, and I'm like, I could write something like this, because it's a metaphor, an allegory, and I thought I could do this. So I got a voice recorder. I actually have it right here. I got this.
The voice recorder. This is where the baby started.
Yeah.
This world movement. Oh my gosh, I love it.
So I would drive to work and record this in, and I'm an emotional wreck. So you're in tune with the message, and it's downloading when you're crying. You're like pouring tears. It's like, oh, it's so moving. I feel like Romancing the Stone when she writes her book, and then she's crying at the end, and she's got all these tissues, and I don't know. That's an old man movie. Anyway,
I've never seen it.
My kids.
Well, you know what your homework is
want
tonight.
to admit to it.
Joan Wilder.
Yeah.
Joan Wilder. Yeah. It was kind of like that. It was a download. This book just downloaded it. And a lot of authors say that is it just pours out. And somebody said the other day, it's like you put down a sheet of paper over a book and you wrote it, like you just traced it. And it feels like that. They weren't accusing me. They were just saying that's how it feels, like a download.
Yes.
But the book came out in 2009. I finished writing it in 2011. I was going to try and do a Kickstarter to raise funds because I'd found my artist.
Mhm.
And I had a vision, like all these colors that you see in the artwork, everything was, I had a vision of all of it.
Yeah.
And I knew my artist would have those colors and those styles of buildings in his artwork. And I found this guy on DeviantArt, and he was a comic book artist. But his buildings were exactly what I was looking for. I'm like, that's my guy.
Yeah.
And I knew it was my guy. And so I connected with him. We created an agreement. He told me the fees. I'm like, I don't have it.
Mhm.
So I did a Kickstarter, and I failed miserably on the Kickstarter. It was 2011. And I raised $800 of a $10,000 goal.
Yeah.
And so I was way off. And so at that time, my wife, who's now my ex, said, you know, things have got to change. And so I ended up going back to school, went back to work, put the book down, and
Okay.
didn't do much with it. I went and got my master's degree and worked. Turns out I'm pretty good at sales. And you know, what's amazing is this long drawn out process. You look forward and you're like, none of this makes sense. This is not where I want to be. But
Mhm.
that sales job led to a finance job, which led to a job at RVs, which led to Ryan Morris, which led to the Tribe of Giants, which led to Wake
He's
Up
like,
with
here I
Giants
am.
TV, right? So all this stuff came about because I was doing what I didn't want to do,
Mhm.
right? I felt like I am on the wrong, this is not where I want to be. So, but it was exactly where I needed to be for all of this to come about.
Yep.
So I don't know. That's where the book came from. And in
Love that.
2018, when my marriage got rocky, I started paying for illustrations, just one a month, and just did what I
Mhm.
could do. And after a year, I paid for all the illustrations and was ready to launch it. We got divorced
Yeah.
in 2019. And October of 2019, we met Rick Evans, and Ryan and I were working together at that time. And like the timing was unbelievably perfect.
Yep.
And then we launched on March 17th, 2020,
The
when the
worst time
whole
in
economy
history.
shut down. Yeah.
Wow, you're coming up
Yeah.
to your 2-year anniversary of launching.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's exciting.
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
Toddler.
It was such a cute baby.
Yeah.
Had no legs.
Oh my goodness. But that's how it is when you are aligned to
Yeah.
your true divine purpose. When you are aligned, it's like every little step that you take, it doesn't matter if it's one step and then 2 months later it's another step. It continuously brings you back to alignment, and it compounds. Every
Yeah.
single little thing, it compounds, and it helps you create what you're ultimately supposed to create in the world.
Yeah.
Which is so powerful. And I hope that when people see your book, when they read your book, when they hear your story, when they hear this specific story, that if they're going for something in their life, they don't give up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't ever give up. No
Yeah.
matter what the external is, never give up inside on believing in yourself.
We both work. Ryan works still. I still work. So we still fund all of this out of our jobs. Like it's created an ability to be able to chase the dream and pursue the dream while taking care of our needs. And a lot of people think, well, I want to do specifically what my passion is.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do that. But I was doing my passion back in the day, and we were suffering.
Yeah.
Like we were in survival mode constantly. So sometimes that really serves to have something there, you know?
Yeah. And that's the thing, is it doesn't have to look the same for everybody.
No.
Like, you can be chasing your dreams while working 3 or 4 jobs, as long as you still believe that you're going to be there. That's the thing, is just don't give up.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
that's the thing with my car accident. It's like, had I given up when like 5 doctors told me to collect disability and just sit on the couch, I definitely could have done that. That was so easy for me. My mom had a condo for me. Like that was so simple. That was the comfort. But I was like, no, this is not going to be my life. And I battled through 3.5 years of dire pain, like never, ever giving up. Always.
If you haven't watched Nicole's episode on Wake Up with Giants, you need to go back and watch that, because that is an incredible story.
Yeah.
Aw, thank you. But this is anything that people are trying to bring into fruition in their life.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, just don't give up. The only time you really give up is when you completely just quit.
Yeah,
that's when you're not going to succeed.
That's just it. Is like most of this we never saw. Most of it. But we knew what we wanted to accomplish. We had the vision of what we wanted to accomplish. We didn't know how we were going to get there.
Right.
We didn't see this coming. In fact, it's interesting because you know, even before we met, I swear the tracks were being laid down in front of us for the alignment that the universe, God, source, whatever, was needed to have happen.
Of course they were. And so what are those? Do you remember some of those signs, some of those synchronicities?
Yeah, I mean, there was little things along the way and some big life changes. You know, Nick putting down the book and and going through the things that he was doing. On my end, I was in the thick of a business, and my business partner left. Like he went to Arkansas, and I mean, he was chasing the American dream, which was he got a free house from his parents and a great job, and I couldn't stop him from leaving. But I didn't want to do what I was doing on my own without a business partner. It was just too much work.
Yeah.
And I look back and so grateful for those things. In the moment, I was like, I failed. Like, it's not going to work out. Like, there goes my dream of business ownership. There goes this. There goes that. But really, I was committed to serving and helping and loving other people.
Yeah.
What fills my cup up is service and love. And it doesn't have to be a particular vehicle. The greatest thing about the Giants is that is a vehicle to help us to be able to do that for other people.
Yeah.
And help them to be able to see their giant potential. And so there's tons of things like that where looking backwards now, it's easy to look back in the rear view and go, huh, well, that's weird that happened that way. Like me leaving my job at the dealership that I was at made no freaking sense. I have people today that I work with because I went back to the other job that I was the other dealership where I was originally. They'll come up to me and they'll laugh and they'll go, "Do you remember when you were hitting sales records and hit the most amount of money in a month and blah 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 blah, and then you just left? Like, how dumb, you know?" They're like, "That was the dumbest thing you've ever done." And I just smile inside and I go, "Man, that was the best thing that ever happened to me." And at the moment, I didn't know why. Felt like a failure. Felt like I wasn't winning, succeeding. Didn't know exactly why I was going on that side detour until I met Nick.
Yeah.
And then went, wow, that's pretty amazing.
And that's the thing is when we feel like a failure, those are other people's projections onto us of what they see as success in fitting into this box that they're comfortable with. It's like success and failure is different for everybody. And that's how it should be because we are each individuals. We have chosen a specific journey. And it's like nobody has a right to judge anybody on any part of their journey.
And you know what? I'm so grateful for all of my failures because those have got me to right here, right now. I'm right on time, right, Nick? Nick wears a stone around his neck. It's our X stone. And it shows him that he's right on time. His brother gave it to him, Pride Smith.
I love
If you don't follow Pride Smith, follow Pride Smith Art, Pride Smith on Facebook. You can find him. And
I'm going
he
to,
is
definitely.
an amazing artist.
His jewelry,
We've got these
artwork,
X stones that are coming out. We got bracelets. I got these this one that says 555 and an X on it. The number change. There you go.
That's I'm gonna have to get my husband one of those.
Yeah, they're.
It's hard
amazing
to find really meaningful, beautiful, manly jewelry.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? I make everything meaningful. Like everything about it is like sum gigante and giants and smalls. Like, but it's just reminders. That's all it is. Is it? My toenails are painted with an X. You know, it's just like it reminds you of where you're at. Where you're at, Ryan, is where you're supposed to be.
Yep.
And I think people think, well, I'm not where I'm supposed to be. But there's opportunity. Like there's no lost time wherever you're at. Just if you put something down, pick something up. Like without a purpose, then we die. Without purpose, we die.
Right.
And so that's where if you don't have a purpose, make one up.
Yeah.
That's why it didn't matter. Like that I didn't see that this, like, I never saw or said, hey, I'm going to go work with a children's book author and him and I are going to create this network and this tribe and all this, and this jewelry and all this. No, I didn't see that at all.
Yeah.
what I was open to was impacting people's lives and while helping myself as well.
Yep.
Because when my cup is full, I can serve other people, and just be at the highest capacity possible.
Yeah.
But didn't see any of this stuff. But then
Yeah.
when it came along, it felt right. Followed the
Mhm.
intuition, kept stepping forward, because I knew I was on time. That it was,
Yes.
and we didn't have that message exactly at that moment in time, but I knew instinctively that this was the right path. This was
Yeah.
the path that I'm supposed to go on, even though it was unsure and I was nervous and felt alone and just it's in the book too. I mean, that's what resonated was, writ in the book
Hmm.
is seeing something different and going, huh, I may have to put aside my old life and some of my old habits and my old
Yeah.
way of thinking and go down a new path. And
Especially when he ruins his house because he grows and he's just
right, yeah,
like, I
and
don't
then
get a house
stand,
anymore.
then right here, like if you can see that, so he's sitting on the shoulder of a giant,
Yeah.
getting a new perspective.
The ocean. Oh, I love that part.
And that's how I felt when I met Nick, and I was like, holy crap, like that gave me a total new perspective on so many things, and
Yeah.
then going, oh my gosh, this could help so many other people. Like this feels right.
It really can. And there's just so many people that can resonate with it with different parts of the journey, which is what is so magical and powerful about this book. And I mean, there are huge visions that you have, Nick, right now of this book and turning it into a movie and really getting it out into the world even more so. And it needs to happen. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey that you recently went on?
I've had the vision from the beginning of a movie. And so it's finally getting to the point where we've got enough momentum under us to start pursuing that. And so we did the Johnny Appleseed tour on April 22nd. And Ryan was supposed to come with me, but he couldn't get out of work. This is like where we want to eventually get out of that work so you're not stuck.
Yeah.
But
tell them about the poster too. You got to tell them about the poster and how that
so I created a movie poster in January of of last year, 21. January 27th. I signed one for me and signed one for Ryan. And I created it as though, it was a real Disney Pixar movie poster. It looks legit.
Yep.
And people have said, you can't do that. Disney will shut you down. That's fine. I don't promote that it is,
Right.
It was a vision statement.
Yep.
And so created that on January 27th, 2021, and put the date for the release of the movie as 2/22, February 22nd. And we created the Johnny Appleseed tour based on a conversation with Lydia Nibley, who's powerful. She's a screenwriter. And she said, why don't you do this? Go down by Pixar and go hit up the cafes and the bars. Well, it's none of that, but the idea was beautiful. So created the Johnny Appleseed tour. I was going to take a burlap bag with me to put the books in, like Johnny Appleseed. Well, it didn't show up till today, like a week later. So I got it finally. So we might put that up for auction or something. But I got the bag, but we didn't take it with. But the idea was to go down to Pixar and plant seeds, and not knowing what was going to pay off or how it was going to pan out. And that's the thing with vision is you have the vision, but even mountain climbers know that there are going to be things that shift as they're climbing. The weather changes and they have to adapt and adjust. And so we planned as much as we could. And I headed down. I drove down in my truck, took a bunch of cases of books with me, and went to the gates of Pixar. I'm like, yes. I come around the corner. I think I'm going to drive right in. And I come around the corner. The walls are 15, 20 feet high. And there's this huge guard gate. And I'm like, what? I thought it was going to be like Disneyland or something, you can go in and just tool around. And I go up to the guard gate and I say, I'm here to bring this. I was told to bring this to the office. And he goes, what office? And I'm like, I don't know. I choked so hard. And the security guard says, well, are you on a list? And I said, no, I'm not on the list. And I asked him if I could leave him a book. And he said, I can't receive it. And I asked, how do I get out? He says, you got to back up. And I'm in this big truck. I ended up backing out, and then would stand on the street corner and watch for somebody going into Pixar, I caught one girl walking in and gave her a book, and she took it into the media library in there, and then went around the other side and found another person that was going to go in that worked there and got them to take one in. And then all these people were watching the journey, and all these ideas started flooding in. Like, why don't you talk to this person and this person and this person? Eventually talked to the technical director for Lucasfilms. And he gave some really good pointers and ideas around it. Talked to the supervisor of the story department at Pixar. Didn't get to talk to him, got a message back from him, but very clear of what the process is like. And then another conversation with somebody out of Spain and Israel that saw the journey that was like, I want to be a part of this. And so it became this collective creation.
You got to hear this too. So when you get committed behind something, there's magic in the commitment.
Oh my goodness, yes.
And then the doing, right?
Yes.
It's that doing part. Like when you get committed, you will do.
Yeah.
And then you're committed, right? And so that Nick was created, like he was committed to this, and he's going. He gets in his truck and starts heading out to all the way to Oakland, California from Salt Lake City, Utah, right? Hasn't even left the valley yet. And what happened, Nick, before you even hit the
Well, I got a call that said, you know who Edwin Catmull is? And I said, I know that name. And she said, well, he's the co-founder of Pixar, and his family is right here in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I know them. And so I'm going to get a book to his wife. You get emotional about these pathways because they're like so hard to explain. The definition of a miracle, right, is something you can't explain that makes you smile.
Yeah.
And if you go to the etymology of the word, that's what a miracle means. And we have this idea that some religious thing, it could be, but it's something you can't explain that makes you smile. And so not even leaving the valley of somebody saying, I'm going to introduce the book to, I think it's Edwin's, his wife or somebody.
But that never would have occurred, right? That never would have occurred if Nick hadn't gotten committed.
Right.
Right. And and even taking that steps farther back of listening to his intuition and going through the hardest experiences of his life, you know, like feeling at the lowest of lows and speaking and crying and all the tissues and tears, you know, feeling at his lowest point, speaking into a voice recorder. And then our commitment of, okay, let's rock this together. Let's go.
Yeah.
Not knowing what's going to happen because of it and all the things that happened because of it, they wouldn't have happened.
And who knows who's listening right now? And they're like, oh my gosh, that's my best friend.
Yeah.
Like, let's make this happen. You know, like that's the thing. And and it's like one thing that I've learned through my one thing. Yeah, it's like, come on, we're watching you. We see ya. One thing that I've learned through like my journey of manifestation and creating things in my life is like when you get to that moment where you come to the guard and the wall and you feel like this is a stop, that's the moment that you step into the energy of achievement.
Yeah.
That's when, as you back up, you're like, oh, it's closed today. Oh, I was supposed to come tomorrow. Yeah, that's right. Okay, let me go. I'm supposed to go to the party with this guy tonight. Like that's when you step into that belief. You really, really bring it into your life. And it's that compounding energy of that belief. Yeah. Vibrating at that frequency that brings it into your life.
Well, I don't know who's going to do the movie. I know that it'll be a Pixar style movie, whether it's Disney or Pixar or DreamWorks or Sony.
Yeah.
It will be a movie.
I've got some people at Disney.
Yeah.
I do.
You do, yeah. So
I do.
I'm open to whoever will produce this movie. This is going to be made. So there's no doubt there. And the reason we have it as a vision is our vision is to impact 100 million lives globally, which sounds like a lot, but in perspective, it's only like 0.02% of the world population. It is a tiny,
it's like 7.6 billion or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's like, well, did we dream big enough? Maybe we need to dream bigger. And we haven't even reached that yet. But the vision is to impact as many lives as we can. So that's through selling the book. That's through the TV network. That's through shows like this, the podcast. Movie is a medium. And it's a pretty big one.
Yeah.
And I envision moms and kids and families going and watching this movie, and you see the glow on their faces, you smell the popcorn, and they're just loving it. The kids come out and say, I want to be a giant. I'm a giant,
Yes, definitely.
The emotion
And
is what we're after. If I
yeah.
could speak that to everybody that's watching is, and we learned this from Debbie Sluice, right?
Okay.
Mm.
Who worked with Jack Canfield around vision. And she had Ryan and I do an exercise. And Ryan did it. And I watched. And she said, write down your vision on one corner and the date on another corner, and then the emotion in the middle. And she
Mhm.
said, now cross out the vision and cross out the date. The emotion is what you're after.
Yes.
And the more I realized that, the book, The Feeling is the Secret, Earl Nightingale, I think, is that, maybe I'm off there.
You're on the burn?
No, that's
Yeah.
Feeling is the
Th-
Secret is right
Feeling is
here.
the Secret. Yeah.
It is Neville
Neville Goddard,
Goddard.
right?
Oh, a different one. Okay.
So the idea of
Feeling is the
any
secret guy.
creation is, once we get the creation, we're really after the feeling.
Yeah.
And so when you can connect to that emotion now, well, the rest is just connecting dots.
Yeah, you don't have to
Mhm.
wait. Like that was the
Yeah.
whole point of it is, why do you have to wait to feel fulfilled or to feel joy or to feel whatever was on that paper?
Yep.
Why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could feel it right now. You close
And
your
that
eyes and
actually
just
bends
think about
time.
it. Yeah.
When you have something that you're envisioning, when you close your eyes and you envision that you're there, you're celebrating the 1-year anniversary of the opening of this huge movie, right? And
Yeah.
it's like, who's around you? What are you feeling? But then what you do is you bring that feeling into every single day. Even if
Yeah.
it's only 5 minutes or 10 minutes, that's what
Yeah.
collapses time. So if it's freedom, if it's radiance, if it's joy, whatever it is, do things to bring yourself into that emotion.
Doesn't
It's
matter.
so
Yeah.
powerful.
It doesn't matter the creation.
Yeah.
Connects with the feeling.
Yep.
So creation will come about. It's
Yeah.
and then when you create that purpose, go create another one. Like I'll never run out of purposes. I'll create another one and another one and another one
Yes.
and another one. And I've
Yes.
got more books to publish, and we're just getting started here. So
Yep.
for those that are listening, same thing. Just go create a purpose.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is we are limitless.
Yeah.
When we really step into recognizing the magic and the sparkle within us, that's when we recognize that we are truly limitless.
Yeah.
That there is no end to the abundance that is waiting for us and more. And it's
Yeah.
like when you focus on something and you're focusing on bringing this movie into fruition, it's like, I'm bringing this movie into fruition and more.
Yeah.
There's always more.
I want to point out too, if that's okay, real quick, to just tie it into your show, Sparkle Self Mastery. It's the people that we were when we started this were not the people we are today.
Right.
We had to grow into that, and there's still parts of us that that they're still small,
Mm-hmm.
or we hit a level, and I might call it a level, a mountain without a top. Steve Hardison says. We feel like we've arrived, or we're there, and you look up and there's another mountain. Let's go hit that and keep spiraling up.
Yeah.
And spiral dynamics, we talk about that a lot. And but it's taken a lot of commitment, a lot of mornings, a lot of evenings, a lot of long conversations, a lot of soul searching,
Yeah.
a lot of routines to be to where we are right now. It's
Yeah.
not,
A
we
lot of
just
people don't see all the
click your
back end
heels and
stuff.
feel a
It's not just
feeling and boom, it's
believing.
there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's part of that magic. All
Right.
the things that we've been talking about is a part of it.
Yeah.
There's still the doing. There's still the work. It
Definitely.
does not take work. It takes work and effort and commitment.
Right.
Those things are still part of it. And then mastery, self mastery, a little
Mhm.
bit more every day, little bit,
Yes.
compounded over time makes a
Right.
huge, massive difference.
Yeah. Now, have you guys ever done Kundalini Yoga?
Yesterday.
You did?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
No.
my beautiful friend,
But I want
Maria
to now.
Portis. She's going to be a guest
Oh.
on my show sometime next month.
Hello,
I can't
Maria.
wait.
We love Maria.
Maria.
Mm-hmm.
She has taught me the cosmic SOS. And she's actually doing like a 40-day event right now, the cosmic SOS mantra. But it's a specific mantra that you speak into the world, and it will bring miracles into your life.
Sounds like we need to
So I
do
will
that.
definitely introduce you guys to that because it is so beautiful and so powerful.
I got to tell you a story about that because that just reminded me. We were
Yeah.
down in southern Utah. Okay, this is back to the feeling and the secret, and then we'll tie it into what you were just talking about. But we're down in southern Utah teaching 300 special ed teachers the message of the giants and the smalls. It was 2 hours, and Nick is rocking this thing, just killing it and doing such a great job. The energy was
not to swear the whole
yeah,
time.
yeah, right. Yeah, it was awesome. He did a great job, and the teachers were into it. We've got a picture with all of them holding up the book. Like, it was well received. It was a great thing. At
Yeah.
the end, Nick's shaking hands and kissing babies and the things that you do at the end when you've done this presentation. This lady walks up and says, "I saw your Kundalini open up," and we're like, "Wait, what?" What?
Oh my
I
God.
checked my fly.
Yeah, he looks down, like, what is going on? I had to
I had no
Google
idea
it.
what a
I had to
Kundalini is.
Google Kundalini.
I'm losing it because I can see his face.
It was so funny. He's like,
Oh my gosh, I love that. Yes,
Did
I
I
am
forget?
just dipping my toes in the water. I just started the Kundalini experience, the journey, and it's so, so powerful. Like, we've been focusing on peace, like world peace, like all sorts of stuff. And it's so beautiful. And it's all about like having these tools, knowing these tools to go to align yourself, to bring you to getting in touch with your intuition, to getting you out of bed in the morning to do those steps to get you where you want to be. Yeah. There's like so many different self-mastery little tools. And that's kind of what the show is about. Like, I really just want people to hear the different modalities that exist in the world. I want them to hear people's stories, to inspire them, to awaken that sparkle within them. And it's not sparkle like crystals. Like, yes, I have crystals everywhere. But it's spreading positivity, abundance, respect, kindness, love everywhere. It's really like kindness from your heart and letting that ignite you, radiate out of you. And this book is exactly that. Like, it's just, I have to bring up this one. I love this. Are there no page numbers? Okay. Well,
I know, right? I was like counting.
It's a page where there's two pages of words. I will post the page number, but it's this part where Rit leaned forward as the giant continued. My parents were giants, and they knew the path to become a giant. They loved to explore the possibilities in the world around them. They dreamed impossible dreams and always thought of others, filling your cup first, then helping others, right? And how they could best serve them. My parents' hearts were enormous. They were constantly looking for ways to improve themselves, serve others, and make their world a better place. Their giant feet took them down paths of endless possibility, and that helped them to reach their stature. That is gold. This whole book is gold. But just those words are pure
those
gold.
People too listening at home, like, you might not know what Kundalini is, like Nick and I, and Nicole now, right? But you might be able to get up in the morning, and maybe just getting up in the morning is the first, step.
Yeah.
And that's a big, brave thing. That's okay.
Yeah.
For
exactly.
Nick, a lot of times it was just making his bed, doing one thing every morning.
Yeah.
And then it can lead into those. I mean, even giants take small steps. They just look giant to a small.
Yeah.
They're the same steps. They're just stepping forward into action.
Oh, I love that. That's such a beautiful perspective.
So you
and
can
it's
do
so
it too.
true. It's like you should never feel bad about where you're at. Where you're at is perfect right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Nick, what are you feeling, man? Like,
I just got
an emotion. Getting emotional.
Yeah. It's it takes me back to writing the book. It's all about, everything I do is about impact now. At the beginning it wasn't, but I grew into learning how to do that. And it is about impact. It's about reminding people that we all have it. We're no different. We're all designed the same. We all have capacity for it, but our beliefs and our stories get in the way. And so my story with all of this was to remind people that we have a small version and we have a giant version. And all of this conversation that's going on in this book isn't outside of us. It's not other people telling us that we're small or giant. It's us.
Yeah.
And the moment we can rewrite that story, then we start going down pathways that are totally different, that we never thought we could do. Mm-hmm. And we start to grow. There's no going back. I always say it's like trying to unpop a popcorn seed. You're not putting it back, right? It's like,
have you ever seen that? Like, go back? No. Doesn't happen.
You can't put the universe back into the Big Bang. It's not.
It's like
happen.
Rit growing right out of his bed. Like,
yes,
he can't go backwards now.
Yep. Yeah. And there was that part in the book where he had that decision.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, am I going to go forward or am I going to stay here? And it's
Yeah.
like, no, I want to learn. I want to become you. I want to grow. I want to expand. I want to become the limitless person I can be, or the limitless giant I can be.
Yeah.
And
And there is no limit. There is no limit.
Exactly.
Only the ones that we give ourselves.
Yep.
And we all get to choose our own paths. So I've had conversations with people where they have their truth and I have my truth, and they're different truths. And being able to honor that in other people is a big thing. That's a giant thing, because there are some differences that are so heavy that some people are, they're so convinced that theirs is the way that it has to be done, that they try and impose that on others. And that's not what this book is about at all. It transcends politics, religion, age, culture, all of that.
Yeah.
Like it's available to anybody. And the challenge that I see is so many people are stuck in survival so heavily that they can't see beyond that. And this is a book that gets you to slow down and get the foundation growing. And then it's the same steps, whether you're doing big things or little things, it doesn't matter. It's the same steps.
Yeah.
It's just repeated. And in that repetition, it creates complexity and growth and expansion. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah. And it's like when you remember the main purpose of your dream, and it's usually, you know, fulfilling, like feeling love, feeling joy, helping others, but people get lost along the way. They'll get there and then they'll be so big, and it's just like they lose the center of love. And that's one thing that I really want to focus on, that people remember, like the center is love and compassion and helping others and filling your cup before you fill others. Like that is the focus no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah. I get reminded, like there's times I forget, like I'm not, you know, I try and be nice all the time. Sometimes I'm not. And so
no,
it's
and I'm not. No.
I
am not all sparkles and rainbows. Trust me, I say my cuss words.
Yeah. But remembering and coming back and re-engaging with it, eventually it becomes who you are. But
Nick's mostly nice, except for in rush hour traffic.
Except in rush hour traffic. I'm sorry.
That's when, okay, so in each Sparkle Self-Mastery episode, I want to teach little tools of Sparkle Self-Mastery. So when you feel frustrated, overwhelmed, you feel like you need to align, bring your hands to here and rub them and close your eyes. And this actually aligns your meridians and chakras. And just deep breathe through it.
Something happened to my Kundalini. Sorry.
But I mean, even my children do this when they get overwhelmed or anxious. Like, it's just so beautiful, and it just aligns you.
That actually really good.
Yeah, that's important, because you can get so spun up by the world and what's going on outside of you.
Yeah.
It can totally, like, it just kind of takes your mind off of everything else, focuses here and aligns this, right?
Exactly. Plus, because I'm silly, if you're ever stuck in the middle of a forest, you now have the motion to move the sticks to create fire.
Oh yeah, you're warmed up.
You're practicing. It's like wax on, wax off.
I was wondering where you're going with that. Survival, you know.
Now I know how to survive.
Skills.
Yeah.
There we go.
Now to catch some food. Now to catch some chili cheese fries.
That's right.
I have had so much fun with you guys. This has been amazing. Is there anything else that you want to share with the community right now, just to encourage them along their journey?
I want to say a couple things real quick, and then Nick, you hold your thought. I know you got a big giant thought coming up. I saw it in his eyes.
But it'll come up.
Like one is no matter where you are. It's okay. Wherever you are. And there's acceptance there, but give yourself some grace and some love. And you might not be where you thought you would be, or where you'd hoped you would be, or dreamed or visioned. But the neatest thing about this whole thing is instantly you can change. That's a choice. Right now. Now. Do it now. Change. It's okay. And then you're worthy, you matter. And that there's giants, there's in all walks of life out there. Find somebody that sees you, stick close to that person. Find people that'll help stretch you, call you out sometimes on the bullshit, and that will love you still through it. And those people are those giants that can put you on a shoulder and give you a new and different perspective until you can see it for yourself.
Yeah. So beautiful. Nick? He's like, how am I going to follow that up?
No. I know. How do you follow that up? I think the mission that I'm on right now with it is to create impact in others. And so every conversation that I have, whether I'm doing a group right now, the SG groups, and I've got 10 people that are coming together starting tomorrow, going for 12 weeks. And we're going through each of the journeys a week at a time and really redefining, recreating that person on the inside. Because once they do that, there's no stopping them. Once they learn how to do that, they'll create whatever they create, and it'll be powerful because they've done the internal work. Yep. They're not frosting dog poop, like we say. You know, they're doing the official work.
She's like, wait, what?
I've never heard that saying before in my entire life.
That's not ours either. It's borrowed, but the idea that we have a surface self that we say we're this, right, and then we have another self that we say we're this, and they're two different things. And so really aligning those two things and bringing them together is what it's about. And so creating that impact and that stretch and that commitment, because truthfully what's going on is it's our own stories and our own beliefs and our own judgments that are in the way. There's nobody outside of you that can do that. So they might have affect and hit you and create some impact in your emotions. But at the end of the day, it's us making the decision that meant something, and that's this. And then we go tell that story, and it's very convincing. The problem is it's just not true. And so when people recognize that their stories they're all created, I don't want to say made up because that's not fair, but they're created and then they're lived into, and that creates the reality. When they can shift that, the reality shifts automatically by who they're being. And so I've learned from masters like Townsend Wardlaw, Steve Hardison, Stephen McGee. There's a lot of Steves in the coaching world. Steve the grasshopper.
Now there's Nick, Nicole.
Yeah. Well, even
Ryan, you need
some amazing Nicoles.
Amy Bingham and all these powerful people. Dina Layton was my first coach, and many others that just they let me stand on their shoulders, and I got another view and another view and another view, and they helped me to see that it's a self-creation. When I create me and I change me, things change.
Yeah.
I have a great relationship with my ex. I have a great relationship with my kids. But it's all created because at one point it wasn't like that. So you can change it. Everybody can change it. And it doesn't matter where you are, you can change it.
Definitely.
And so that's the impact I want to have.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. And I just want to leave the beautiful community that is live or watching the replay. I just want to leave you this message that you have the most beautiful light within you. And if you haven't stepped into it yet, it's because it hasn't been the time yet. But when it is the time, it's going to light up any darkness that could possibly come. And it's the magic and sparkle that is within you. And it's not seeking it. It's coming to a remembrance of who you are. And it's being aware. And it's looking for signs, looking for synchronicities, really appreciating the connections in your life, really, really being grateful for the little things in your life and bringing more of that gratitude, that sparkle and that magic into your life. So I always say sparkle, spread positivity, abundance, respect, kindness, love everywhere. Thank you so much from the bottom of my soul, Nick and Ryan, for joining me. This has been such a pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah, you too.
Love you too.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.